Incoming. Don't worry. Meant to do this. Hey internet, Wag here. And at the time of this video, you have probably already raced a few tracks on the RecRally racetrack. If you don't, stop this video right now and go check it out. It's a pretty cool RRO experience. What you might not have done already though, is play around with the car through your maker pen. That is because it is beta content, so you do have to turn on beta content in your room before you can use it. So let's check out how to do that before we have a look on what's under the hood. So you all probably recognize the default maker room. By default, beta content is not enabled. You will be able to enable it in the settings of this room. You just scroll down a little bit. There is a checkmark that says Allow Creative Tools Beta Content. Allow beta content in this room. This content is subject to change, which means that things might still change drastically and maybe require some maintenance down the road if you save any room with content like this in it. You turn it on. It has a little warning. Most important, it does not allow you to save inventions in a room, so do not be surprised if you turn this on and you want to save your build and you are not able to. So very important to keep that in mind. But if you are okay with that, you can press save and it will save the room. And then beta content will be enabled. So if I open palette, go to props, go to dynamic, I would be able to find the rally buggy in my maker pen. Now for all intents and purposes, a RecRally car counts as any other Recroom object for the sake of manipulating it with circuitry. You can apply tags, set velocity, or clamp whatever you want to it. You want to reskin your car into something cool, set it to some high torque and some really high weight, and skin it to be a tank. That is very much possible. Want to slap on some extra seats to get some extra co-drivers? No problem. Your imagination is the limit. You will notice in your room, if you spawn in a car, props, dynamic, third page, that the buggy by default comes with its own chip. You can enable or disable driving, seat a player in the seat that you wish. Seat index 0 is the driver's seat. 1 is the side seat and 2 is the standing seat in the back. And you can get the player value of the player that is seated in any of the seats by index. Now this is just the tip of the iceberg, because if you get out your maker pen, you go to configure and you press your car, you will notice that there is a lot of things you can customize about your vehicle. There's some pretty big words in there, so don't expect to go about it all in one go. The most important things are vehicle mass. Increasing this reduces the acceleration of your vehicle and does not make it fly that high. If you reduce this too much, it becomes a little paper airplane and you just fly away as soon as you go have a bump over a single piece of environment. Best not to set that too low. Boost pickups required. How much boost pickups you want to pick up before you can boost. Torque is very, very important. Torque is the force, the rotational force that is applied to your wheels. The higher you set this, the higher your max speed, the higher your acceleration. The lower you set this, the slower your car. Max reverse torque. How fast do you want it to go backwards? Braking torque, how responsive your brakes are, and so on and so forth. Can drive on walls, there's no reason to not have this turned on. especially if you make something 0G. The front wheels and the back wheels have their own configuration. Can steer, can drive, can apply handbrake, all pretty self-explanatory. Suspension max extension, you can set this to 5 meters and you'll have a car on stilts. I don't know why you would want to drive that, but you can if you want to. Anything down from here is all pretty technical. You can play around with it if you want to, but for the sake of brevity on this video, we're not going to go into each and every one in detail. Now the buggy also comes with some chips that can apply effects to it, or get value from the car for use in CV2 setups. Going down the list, we have add boost fuel. You can add booster fuel to the car if you want. Apply boost. Keep your car boosting, whether the player driving it wants to or not. Ground vehicle get boost fuel. Gets the amount of boost fuel that the car has, pretty self-explanatory. Ground vehicle get driving enable, true or false. Ground vehicle get engine torque multiplier. We'll get to that in a little bit as we get to this chip. Get seated player. You can get the player value of the players in a specific car based upon the index. Ground vehicle get wheel friction multiplier. We'll get to that when we get to the other. Ground vehicle set driving enabled. That option was already available in the chip of the car itself, but here you have it again in individual chip form. Ground vehicle set torque multiplier. If you need some extra engine force and you want to double the amount of torque that your car has, you can do it with this chip. If you multiply it by less than 1, you reduce its torque value. Ground vehicle set seated player. You want to automatically seat players with circuitry. Here you have it again in singular chip form. Ground vehicle set wheel friction multiplier. If you need to scale a big hill and your car needs a bit more friction, you can set the friction to double, triple, quadruple if you need your wheels to have a bit more grip. If you set this to 0, there's no friction whatsoever, and you'll have your own version of cars on ice. Ground vehicle unseat player can unseat a player from a vehicle based on a player value. Ground vehicle unseat player from seat unseats a player from a specific seat. As stated before, 0 from the driver's seat, 1 from the co-driver's seat, and 2 from the standing seat in the back. So that is pretty much all that there is to say about the RecRally car prop. I'm gonna leave your imagination to do the rest. If you're not very experienced with circuitry and you don't know where to start, please check out the other tutorials on this channel. They are a pretty good resource to get you started. If you want some in-game experience, join up with the Creative Club in-game. Pretty easy club to find, pretty big club. And join in on some circuitry workshops, or join in with the Circuit Think Tank every Thursday and Saturday for some hands-on experience. But for now, I hope you go out there and build some cool or entertaining or engaging or pretty things. Use your newfound knowledge wisely, and to see you in the next one. Bye!
The anti-gravity in the car is achieved by this upwards vector that has just enough magnitude to make the car 0G, as demonstrated when this vector is the only value that is given into the direction, and I enter the car, you will see that it slowly moves upwards. This makes the car 0G, so if we add that value together with another vector gadget that is clamped to the car and that is always pointing downwards, then no matter in what orientation the car is, it will be forced for itself, for its own perspective, downwards, and that will stick it to any wall that it is attached to. Up here, we are making sure that it only runs if seated player is valid and the player is Recroom object get is local authority, so it runs on the player that is authority over the car. Event updater 30 Hz, pretty basic stuff. And the only other addition is that the downwards magnitude is only 0.06 if the amount of people in this trigger volume is not greater than 0. If at any point the amount of people in this trigger volume are more than 0, the value for the vector gadget becomes, well, this vector gadget becomes way less, -3, in contrast to the 0.06, and that will send the car upwards, so it has a jump button.